Now we present Open Forum with our host and Bible teacher, Harold Camping.
Welcome to the October 27th, 2009 edition of the Open Forum. Once again, we have the opportunity to look together into the Word of God. What a grand opportunity this is, because the Bible is the book. It is the only book that has really any real importance at all. It is written by God, and it tells us everything that mankind would like to know. That is, where we came from, what this earth is all about, what the future of everything is. Is there a God, and how do we relate to God, and all kinds of information that cannot be found anywhere else. Oh my, what would we do without the Bible? Well, this is your program. We want to hear from you, and so shall we take our first call tonight, please. Welcome to Open Forum.
Hello, Brother Camping.
Yes.
I would like to ask two questions for you before you respond. In Revelation 9:3, verse 4, who is commanding the locusts, and how do they compare to the great army spoken of in Joel 2:25?
Yeah, this is a very good question. As a matter of fact, during these past several days, I've really been thinking again as we read about the locust. And here in Revelation 9, God gives something very revealing. He says in verse 2, "And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by the reason of the smoke of the pit, and there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and upon them was given power as the scorpions of the earth have power." And then we will go back to Joel chapter 22, and we also read about this in Joel chapter 1 and in a couple other passages. But in Joel chapter 2, in verse 25, we read, "And I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten, the cankerworm and the caterpillar and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you, and ye shall eat in plenty and be satisfied." Now, incidentally, here God speaks about a palmer worm, a canker worm, a caterpillar, a locust, and they're all aspects of the locust. We can't really know how they relate, how they distinguish from each other. In one case, it might be a very young locust, another a little bit older, but they're all finally locusts. And it's talking about they have been very destructive. And here in Revelation 9, it talks about they have come out of the smoke. And we know that the smoke is speaking about the wrath of God. God speaks about fire and brimstone when he talks about his wrath coming. And while in the past I've tried to figure out who really, Christ spoke in parables, to what do these locusts represent. But I'm kind of becoming convinced that the locusts represent the wrath of God, not any particular anything. In other words, it's just the anger of God that comes with the fact that that the unsaved are under the judgment of God. And in his wrath, in this case, in Revelation 9, he said to the locust that they were commanded that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, and the context shows that they cannot touch the believers, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads, and they are the ones who come under the wrath of God. And then it said to them it was given that they should not kill them, but they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was that this torment of a scorpion, which he striketh a man. Now, in other words, this is not speaking about the wrath of God that ends that aspect of it that is death, because that is also a function of the wrath of God. But here in Revelation 9, it is speaking about the wrath of God that particularly comes against those who have entered into that day of judgment, that final 5 months period when God is bringing his wrath, his anger against those who are unsaved. And that may be what the locusts represent, is simply the anger of God. Here in Revelation 9, he's talking about as he hurts people, they are being killed also. But there's also great pain because people have been left behind. They thought that they deserved to go to heaven because they thought they were true believers. Pain that comes because of physical suffering that comes as a result of the great earthquake that begins the day of judgment and all the aftermath of dead bodies, millions of them out in the streets and everywhere, and nobody can bury them, and all the ugly things that will take place because of that. Just pain. This could well be the emphasis in Revelation 9, whereas in Joel's prophecy, God brings his wrath against the churches, against the nation of Israel, because they were not faithful, and yet God is saying he would restore. What does he restore? Again, there is a harvest of people becoming saved, and so again, it appears that it's not talking about anything special, that is a group of people or whatever, but simply the anger of God, typified again by the 10 plagues. Remember, in Egypt, when one of the plagues was that there was a tremendous swarm of locusts that came and ate everything and became so destructive to Egypt as one of the 10 plagues. And there again, it is typifying the wrath of God, not a particular people of any kind, but simply the anger of God. And I'm inclined to think that that may be the best definition when we see these references to locusts.